Hello and welcome to Type A-. My name is Anna. In today's episode, I am going to be talking about the 3 things that I have done. We're talking practical, tangible, free things that you can do today, settings that you can do on your phone that will help you cut your screen time in half, kick your phone addiction, and actually spend more time doing the things that you always tell people you want to be doing. Let's get into today's episode. Today, I want to talk about phone addiction, and I want to share some of the things that I have learned over the last couple of years of specifically going at this problem in my life. Before we get into that, let me just rewind a little bit to 2022. I'm starting to make TikTok videos, and they're going viral, like a lot. And very quickly, I have way more followers than I ever would have thought possible. And I was having a lot of fun making TikTok videos. It was deep pandemic. I had recently gotten my ADHD diagnosis as a fully adult woman, and I was approaching that information the way I approach a lot of things, which is to learn as much as I possibly can about the thing so that I can move forward with a little bit more power in my life. So I was listening to podcasts, I was reading books, listening to audiobooks. I was just like immersing myself in learning about what the heck was going on with my brain and had been going on with my brain all this time. Basically, I was sharing this information on TikTok, whatever I was learning in educational circles, learning with the work of my therapist. And I guess it resonated with a lot of people. And so I ended up starting a business off the back of all of that time that I was spending on TikTok. And some of you, my OGs, know about this business. It started out as a co-working business, gathering people on Zoom calls to work for 1 and 2 hour sessions at a time. In the time of running that business, my priorities had to change as a business owner and as somebody who wanted to take my life a little bit more seriously. And one of the things that I was finding was, as somebody who created content online to support and grow my business, is that when I was posting on TikTok and on Instagram, I was feeling drained, depleted, demoralized, comparing myself to everybody. And my screen time was like over 11 hours a day. It was scary when I first started looking at that number. And one of the very first things that I did during that time, and they say that admitting is the first step to recovery, was admitting that I had a problem. That 11 hours a day of screen time was too many hours a day of screen time. And my brain didn't feel so good. Spending that much time on the internet, that much time absorbing information, communicating with people, and also the scrolling, just kind of like the frantic context switching. Like it made my brain feel fuzzy and frantic. And I was running a productivity business. And so I feel like just the natural outgrowth of that was for me to say like, wow, I'm having a really hard time getting anything done with this much chaos and distraction in my life. So that was about the time that I realized, I remember feeling like there was this tipping point with TikTok where it was like fun and it got me started on this business journey. And then like I just ran right off a cliff and it wasn't fun anymore. And it made me feel really anxious and stressed out. And that was the big turning point for me to say like, okay, well, I'm going to have to take this thing that has been such an important part of my business and figure something out because I can't live here anymore. And then in 2024, I had a reckoning with myself where I realized that I was going to have to make some changes in my life because my life had become quite small, quite stressed, quite anxious, quite lonely. And I was the only one who could fix any of that. And so one of the first things I did was I added a screen time widget onto my iPhone. Having a little screen time widget up on my home screen was just a really good in-my-face reality check. When I first started looking at my screen time numbers, I was filled with shame, like so much shame. And shame is a feeling that I'm very familiar with. And I'm learning that if you want to overcome it, you have to just go right at it. And so instead of looking at that number and feeling flooded by shame and where the hell did my day go and what did I do with my time and yada, 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 I would just kind of say like, okay, here I am with 11 hours of screen time and it's not cute and it doesn't look good on me. And I'm going to change that. The second major change that I made to significantly, I mean, at least in half, it's cut the amount of time I'm on my phone, probably more, most days it's more, is this little QR code right here, if you'll allow me to explain. There is a lot of conversation out there about this little device, the brick. There is also another one called Block. There's tons of these out there. And basically they are fancy little NFC tags that are like 35 cents a piece if you get them. Now, brick obviously sells for like $50 or $60 or something like this. It's basically an elaborate marketing scheme, and it's an elaborate marketing scheme I sincerely wish I would have thought of, because it's brilliant what they're doing. Basically, you buy the overpriced little hunk of plastic and then you use it in conjunction with an app on your phone. However, this wonderful developer who is in Canada, I believe, developed this open source, completely free software called Foqus, where you can actually program an NFC tag the same way the brick works, or what I think is even easier is any old QR code will do. So when I found this software, I had a yoga flyer sitting on my kitchen island and was like, oh, I could just put a little, I think I used nail glue and a magnet on the back of this flyer and use this little QR code so it lives on my refrigerator 24/7. This is basically my version of the brick. This is the thing that allows me to get in and out of my blocked apps. But what's interesting about Foqus is that I now have like a default mode that I'm in where I'm not on Instagram. Like I spend maybe 10 minutes on Instagram a week. I stopped posting there. If I ever feel compelled to do it in the future, I will. But every time I get on there, and I'm usually just logging in from desktop, every time I go on there, I'm just like, there's nothing here for me. Like this is not a productive or enjoyable way for me to be spending my time. So I don't need to be here. I have been in my focus mode for 1,292 hours. No, that's 21 hours. Math is hard. Anyway, this is how long I've been in there. It's a long time. I don't remember the last time I unlocked my phone. But anyway, this little QR code, I've written a whole guide of how I set this up. Actually, I'll link it right here. It was $0 and so easy to set this thing up. And it has single-handedly, I even emailed the founder of this company and was like, yo, I love your app. I am just so grateful. It has changed my relationship with my phone and social media so much. The third thing that I've done to help curb the amount of times I'm getting distracted instead of focusing on my work is, even though I might have my phone completely blocked off on apps, I still have God's whole internet on my laptop. So I started trying out a ton of different Chrome extensions to see what actually was useful and helpful and easy to use. And the one that I've landed on, that this is not sponsored, I just genuinely, again, I emailed this developer and was like, this is sick, this software that you created. It's called Intentional. And there's a free version that I actually used for quite a while. And then I'll talk about the paid version in just a second because I think it's worth it. But if you want to use the free version, you can block yourself up to 3 different websites. If you get the paid version though, the developer came up with this like brilliant idea to have a certain setting for YouTube where you can actually search for videos if you need them so that you're not fully shut off, because as any creative or entrepreneur can attest, you need access to YouTube University if you're sitting down to do your deep work. You're gonna have some questions and there's people on the internet who are gonna have those answers. So what he did instead, this is on the paid version of the Chrome extension, is that he designed basically a mask that goes over YouTube that allows you to search whatever video you need, but blocks comments, blocks shorts, and blocks your suggested feed. So it's basically just a little library for you. I have gone from toggling in and out of having access to YouTube to fully having the setting toggled on 24/7 because I love the experience of having a comment-free, algorithm-free, shorts-free YouTube experience. It's like a little library for me to actually go seek out whatever I need, not to just like jump down some random scroll holes. I can do that on my phone if I really want to, but when it comes to locking in and actually sitting down to do the work that I wanted to do, this extension has been a game changer. On the Pro version, you can also do unlimited blocking. So I have about 4 websites that I block every time I go into my focus mode. I block Instagram, Substack, YouTube, and Threads because those are the places I'm going to be getting lost. So when I do this and I lock in for my 1 good hour, if you're not familiar with 1 good hour, go check out this video to learn more. But when I'm locking in for my 1 good hour, I go on Do Not Disturb. I make sure my focus mode is on my phone. And then I make sure that the Intentional app is fired up on my laptop, and then my phone is on the whole other side of the room. I'm basically creating a digital force field around myself to get anything done because that is what you have to do in this day and age, okay? I genuinely hope that this was helpful to anybody who might be wondering how the hell to get off your phone so you can do the work that you are most compelled to do, because I know there's books that want to be written and businesses that want to get started and YouTube videos that want to get recorded. There's all this work that I know so many of us as creatives, as entrepreneurs, we are just like fizzing to express ourselves. Do what you need to do to make the space for your brain to actually focus on something for more than 10 minutes at a time. More than 5 minutes at a time. Have you seen how some of you guys scroll? Anyway, I digress. Thank you for being here. I'll see you on the next one.